Hi YouTubers. So this is my 2017 Jeep Trailhawk that I've had. I guess I bought it new. It's 3 years old now. It's a great car. It really has proven to do everything I was hoping it would do. It's a great off-road vehicle. I don't do any serious off-roading, but living in the country in the sort of New England area, you need good winter traction. You need to be able to go on some rough roads, and it does everything I need it to, and it also pulls very nicely. I have a camper, a tab camper that I pull with it, and a heavy duty dump trailer, and it does all those things very well. It's lived up to expectations, and it's fully loaded. It's a great vehicle. It's, I guess, what was it called, the Plus. It's got all the electronic gadgetry on it, and I've been very pleased. But what I'm about to do now is I'm about to put some heavy duty roof rails on here and crossbars, because I'm going to be fitting a roof tent. You may have seen another video I did very recently when I took delivery of a hard shell roof tent. So to mount this roof tent, everything I read tells me that maybe those rails that come, the standard Jeep rails, aren't up to the job. So I purchased some heavy-duty roof rails from a company called Rocky Road Outfitters, which specializes in aftermarket equipment for these vehicles. So these are the Rocky Road Outfitters roof rails. When I ordered them, they said it might take several weeks because they make them to order. So I was very pleasantly surprised when they arrived within just a few days. They came very well wrapped in foam and cling film. So I was pleased. I also at the same time ordered a set of their heavy crossbars. So those are there. So obviously the bars came, the fitting kit came. There are some instructions, basic instructions. They do warn that there may be some distortion on the foot plates because of welding heat. I'm not sure that I accept that should happen. I mean, it can happen, but it shouldn't be the customer's problem, I think, to deal with. But hopefully, and I do see a little distortion on at least one of the feet, but hopefully that'll come out as I bolt them down. Okay, so now I'm going to, I think they cost the two sets of rails, and the rails were with the crossbars. I think they were like, and the shipping, 500 and odd, 560 maybe, something like that, as I remember it. Certainly somewhere between, 5 and 550 or so. And again, they look nicely made, I have to say. Nice finish on them, like a very heavy finish, and they're heavily made and constructed, so they look as though they're going to be great for the job. So first of all, I've got to take off the rails from the Cherokee Trailhawk. I've been running roller crossbars on there, which I've just removed. So now I'm going to take off the side rails there. Those four cover plates weren't the easiest devices to remove. I didn't want to break them because obviously I'm going to have to return it presumably to stock sometime when I part with this, whenever that is. But they came out. Fortunately, it's a nice warm day, so I was able to sort of play around with them without breaking them. But there they are. That's what's underneath them. I guess there are four screws that I now have to remove. Okay, so I've just removed the first two screws. They came out very easily, but if you're planning to do this job, be warned that these are an unusual screw head on here. It's almost like a Torx, but it's not really a Torx screw there. I ended up using, I've got a set of all these weird type fittings here, and this is the one that I used. That you can see that. Where is it? There. It's like almost like a three-headed propeller type fitment there. If you can see that. But that's what you need for those screws. Wasn't easy. Well, it was easy, but it wouldn't have been very easy had I not had the right fitting. So once you remove the four screws, I found that you can't move anything until you've also, there's a tiny little Torx screw there that it's on a very tiny head that you then have to remove from each end and take everything out, and then this comes away. You can slide this off of the captive nuts. So here's the interesting thing. Jeep is only, there are 3 captive nuts here. We're going to be using all 3 for those new bars. There's only screws going into 2 either end for this particular side rail. That's the standard fitment. Interesting. Just been given a bit of a clean where the footprint from the old rails created a lot of, there's a lot of dirt underneath there and crud, so it builds up. So now I can fit the rubbers, and you can see that the rubbers, they only fit a certain way because there is a certain shaping on the alignment of those screws. Those captive screws are raised because the old rails sort of slide under and then lock down with the screws. So you can see why Cherokee Road Outfitters has to provide this very thick, heavy-duty sort of rubber here that brings it up to the correct level. So now I can go get the rail and try to drop it on. It was relatively easy to put the rails in place. I used a couple of nice thick towels. I put one either end to protect the roof while I was aligning them. They recommend you use 2 people. You don't need 2 people, you just need to take the right precautions. And everything went down okay. These are hex screws. I wish they were black, I wish they were anodized, so they don't stand out. I'm assuming, and I certainly hope, that they are stainless so that they don't start rusting out. I'm assuming they're stainless. They look as though they're stainless. But I might paint those in. I just think they look a little, unnecessarily, they stand out unnecessarily. My only concern is one thing, and that is that screw at the end there, the last screw, which the captive. Now they don't give you any torque numbers, but I felt right from the outset that you didn't want to tighten these up too much. They're certainly the OEM screws that were in there on the old rails were definitely not very tight. They came off relatively easily. You wouldn't want to overwork the threads in those captive nuts. Having said that, even taking it gently, that last one down there, which is one of the captive nuts that was not being used with a screw on the old rails, is not biting. I mean, it started threading, and then it simply started turning. So I don't know about that. It feels firm, but that certainly isn't locking down. Everything else did lock down in place. There was some slight distortion on the plate at the rear on this side, on the driver's side. But as I gently anchored it down, the difference got taken up somewhat by the rubber underneath there, I think. So the rails are in place. Again, I might call Cherokee Road Outfitters about that last captive nut owner there, if they have any recommendations for what to do, or whether they say it's okay. Anyway, so now I'm going to put the crossbars on. Front rail is on and all bolted down. It fits pretty nicely. There's stainless steel bolts underneath there that lock the bar into the brackets at either end, and then there are these U-bolts. The U-bolts have these locking nuts on them. My only criticism, I guess, or concern, is that these bolts here are just a little narrow for the rail, so you cannot get them over this rail without scratching up, nicking up, or risking nicking up the finish on the rail, which is it's sad. You don't want to do that. But anyway, that's the only thing. So now I'm just going to fit the rear one, and we'll see how it looks when it's done. So there's the new rails and crossbars on my Trailhawk. As I say, went on reasonably easy, didn't take too long. Certainly a substantial piece of kit. Again, a couple of little things. I would like those to be painted, those screws. I'll certainly be painting myself. I am a little concerned about that rear screw on the other side, but maybe it's going to be okay. But I'll talk to them about that, get their advice. But I think it looks good. It looks very purposeful, functional, and hopefully it's going to do the job when I put my roof tent on, which will be very shortly, and I'll probably do another video then. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please give me a like. Better still, give me a subscribe. This is a new channel I'm doing because I have a channel that deals with my tractors that a lot of people like, but they're not really interested perhaps in this kind of thing. So I thought I'd start another channel on what I'm doing with my Trailhawk. So anyway, please give it a like and please subscribe, and thanks for watching and have a great day.